There's something about this photo that makes me want to run and hide under the covers. At first glance, this just looks like a photo of a doorway, right? But then you look a little closer. This photo was captured by an Australian man in 2020. He said he was at home alone and heard the sound of feet shuffling around or clothes rubbing against each other. He knew the apartment was empty, all of his roommates were out at work. He began looking around and captured a photograph of a ghostly figure in his hallway. The chilling, white, faceless head is seen peering from behind a door frame. The best part of this story, though, is that this guy immediately moved out. A lot of these people are like, oh, I stayed. He's like, I'm out. He's a smart guy, because if I saw that, I'd make like a bread truck and haul buns. Who or what this is remains a mystery. What are your thoughts on this photo? And also, I'm sorry for the nightmares. Kinda. For more spooky stories, check out the Avery After Dark podcast, available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. This is one of the most bizarre stories to ever come out of Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia, there's been rumors for years about this bus that doesn't have an end destination. It's legendary, and they call it the bus to nowhere. Story goes, the bus only appears to people who are at their lowest and need to get away from their problems quickly. It displays no destination, has no route number, nor does it appear on any transportation maps. Legend says the bus will pick up passengers, but they have no idea how long they've been on the bus for. It could have been hours, days, or even years. Ask some Philadelphians and they will tell you firsthand that they've seen this bus winding its way through town. Where this bus truly goes, no one really knows. But once the passenger is ready to face the world, the bus will stop and they can get off. And if you live or have been to Philly, you may have passed the bus to nowhere and not even known. What are your thoughts? Have you ever seen or heard of the bus to nowhere? And this whole thing really reminds me of this super crazy bus from Harry Potter. Anyone else?
Today I'm going to show you the most disturbing parts of the internet, part 2. In part 1, I made a video about a cave website where the guy mysteriously disappeared and never updated the website. But this one is going to take a whole new approach because today we're going to be actually spying on people. This website is called NCCam. For legal reasons, I'm just going to show you this website, but let me tell you about it first. This website scans the internet for unsecured webcams. For example, if I was on Amazon and I bought this little cheap webcam. Let's act like this is the webcam and I never put a password on it. The website will automatically scan around and find that webcam and put it on their website as long as it doesn't have a password. And let's be honest, most people who are like in their 50s and 60s aren't that aware that you need to put a password on webcams. So today we're going to be spying on people's houses. This one is in Denver, Colorado, and we can see it says sleep room, and it almost kind of looks like a crib for babies. Here we are, we're in somebody's house, it looks like. This looks like some kind of red room. We're looking at neighborhoods. And the list just keeps going on. That's just to page 54, and there's 947. So if you bought a webcam and you never put a password on it, chances are more than likely that you're on this website. Make sure to like and follow for more videos tomorrow.
This is so bizarre. This creepy footage comes to us from Doneen Bull Davis, who lives on the Louis Bull Tribe Reserve in Alberta, Canada. The family was at home one evening when they began to hear a strange voice coming from the wooded area in their backyard. They went outside to check, didn't see anything, but then they begin to hear the mysterious voice start to taunt them. Take a listen.
Come out so I can see you. Come out. Come on. Come out! Come. DJ! Come on up!
The mimicking voice continues, and it starts to escalate.
Come on! Come on! Fuck you! Let's leave! No.
What? The family was freaked out and called police to come check things out. Officers got to the scene and checked the woods, and one of them said he heard the voice as well, but they couldn't find anyone back there. The family has no idea how to explain any of this. Some believe it's some kind of creature that roams the reserve. What do you think it is?
These girls were out hiking when they encountered a skinwalker. Check it out.
We're frozen here. Because that doesn't sound like coyotes. They got something. Are they getting closer to it? No? A biker just went that way, and the sound got worse.
Are you in a spooky mood? You're about to be. A woman wrote, I was staying at a cottage with 6 friends in North Wales for the weekend. The cottage was owned by my best friend's grandfather in a pretty isolated location. That Saturday morning, we decided to head out to the local market and stopped at a pub on the way back. While sitting at the pub eating lunch, a few of our other friends who were staying in a nearby town walked into the pub and said, oh, we're glad you guys are still here. They hadn't missed us. But this was strange, as we didn't tell them we were stopping at this pub. We asked how on earth did they know that we were here? They said they had phoned the cottage we were staying at, and the lady that answered the phone told them. We were all freaked out, because there was no one else staying at the cottage. No cleaning ladies, no other guests tied to the house. It was empty that day, and for the rest of the trip, I barely slept a wink, just wondering who answered that phone, and how did that woman know where we were? Told ya. Spooky. So, who answered the phone? I'll give you a hint. It's a ghost.
I have a Lusa story time. The person who submitted this has been tagged down below. Her name is Margarita. When Margarita was about 12 years old, her and her mom were leaving a relative's house. This particular relative happened to live in the middle of nowhere. As they're making their way home, this car comes out of nowhere and causes them to swerve off the road, almost hitting a ditch. The minute they swerve off the road, Margarita and her mom look up and they see this giant bird just appear out of nowhere. Now this thing was massive. It had this massive wings that were like spread out, but it had the face of an old lady. Margarita's mom immediately grabbed her, like she cuffed her down and started to pray. They stood in the car praying for what felt like forever. Once they looked up, she was no longer there. Even though this story happened many years ago, Margarita has never been able to get this old lady's head out of her head. Like it's like engraved in her head. Her mom is a curandera, so when they made their way back home, her mom did a cleansing thing to try to get rid of any negative energy this lechuza may have left behind. They also lived next to a church, which always made Margarita feel safe. So if you ever happen to be in the middle of nowhere and run across a giant bird with the old lady's face, don't approach it, don't get out of the car, pray and drive off.
Have you ever encountered a creepy doppelganger in real life? Listen to this. A woman wrote of a chilling encounter and said, I was probably about 16 to 17 years old and I had just gotten home from high school. My brother was in the kitchen making a ruckus, so I started that way. As I passed by his bedroom, I saw my mom in there, sitting on his bed with the lights off, facing away from me and towards the wall. I stopped and stood in the doorway and asked her if she was okay and what she was doing. She said really slowly, just sitting, come here, I need to talk to you. I took about a half a step into the room when I heard my mom yelling for me in the kitchen. I turned to look towards the kitchen for a second, and when I looked back, there was no one there. I don't think I ever went back into that room by myself again, even 10 years later. In years since, she's always wondered, who was that in the bedroom? Stories of people seeing their own doppelganger or a loved one's have circulated for years, and the occurrence has never been explained. What's going on here? I got the chills. Do you?
When summer ends, it always leaves a mark, so we can find our way back to the water. But we take our time and lay out on the dock like two cold-blooded souls in need of warmth. We'll take everything that you want, you can have it in our purses and